Are you ready?
Andino, Christopher Andino, always say the Andino. And if I love wrestling, you love wrestling, and we love wrestling.
Welcome to We Love Wrestling. You know, this is our new series we call We Love because we love everything that we bringing on right now. You know, we got somebody, if you in the DMV area, you know, he's from New York, though, but he's in the DMV area. If you've been seeing his stuff, you know, he's a hoodlum. He's a thug. That's how they describe him on camera. Nah, we got one of the funniest people. Well, he told me one of the funniest people I know, Mr. Christopher Andino. How are you doing today, sir?
Blessed and highly favored.
I feel you, Andy.
I'm black. I'm black, so
he's black. There
that's
it is.
the best part. That's the best part.
That's part of it. So before we get into it, the first question I always ask is, why do you love wrestling, or what started your love for wrestling?
My love for wrestling started probably as soon as I could register my consciousness, not even to be dramatic. It was the first thing that I was watching because I was in DR with my grandmother until I was old enough to go to school. And my dad was sending over comic books and wrestling magazines. So it was that and like dated old Lucha Libre at my grandma's house is all I was watching. So that's all I had, honestly. So I didn't until I came back to New York, I didn't know that there was other TV other than wrestling. So yeah, I didn't really even watch anything else entertainment wise otherwise. So yeah.
Okay. So how do you get into wrestling? You know, if from everything that you was doing, because I heard you had a chance to play baseball, but
yeah. I was playing baseball like off the rip, like elementary school. Like I did it all, like t-ball, little league. We missed the game to get in on the whole like little league showcase thing. My parents always wanted me to play baseball because Puerto Rican and Dominican, if you couldn't tell by this, I got them both right here. But so we always thought baseball was it for me. And I always wanted to be a wrestler, but you know, my family always wanted me to do the more practical thing. So, and then an opportunity struck and I took it.
Cool. So I said earlier, you're in the DMV area, but you're from New York.
Yeah.
Where did you start training at, or who trained you?
I started training at Riot City in Sykesville, Maryland, under Sickened. He was already working and training some guys that I had already known personally. And that's kind of where that came from. Me and a bunch of people, we were wrestling, like we were yarders, obviously. Like, you know, a lot of people try to act like yarding isn't a thing, but some of like the best known wrestlers in the world have all yarded at some point or another. It's a large group of people, like some of the best ever. Like people love Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay was a yarder. Chris Hero, Seth Rollins, they were all yarders. People forget that. So me and a big group of friends were yarding they were yarding longer, but I was doing it for about 2 years. And then when a friend of mine, Nick Anarchy, he went to Riot City first, told me it was legit, and he was helping him get booked, and he was teaching him a lot. And let's go. We tried to get the whole group to come. They BS'd. I knew what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, so I was like, well, I'm going. Either y'all coming with me or not. And not a lot of them did. I didn't care. So that's how that happened.
Describe the yarding experience, because I've talked to a few people and they talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really hear people talk about backyard wrestling like that.
Because if people like frown upon it, like, and they act like it's not a real thing. And my whole thing is, I look at yarding like and one basketball. Like, like, yeah, it's not the league. And in a lot of cases, them and one guys weren't getting money for real. But when you look at, if you ever bothered to watch an and one mixtape, you ever notice there's some guys who you look at and like, he could play in the NBA. Like, there's guys like that. And our situation was very similar because how we were yarding compared to a lot of people was very different. We actually had like a legitimate ring. And we weren't just coming up together and then putting on a bunch of ridiculous matches. We were legit constructing stories and putting stuff together and act like we had a guy who was in the position of a booker and all that other stuff. And we legit were like trying to make it look like a real show. And you might have seen some of it on Twitter. There've been some people that have resurfaced some of those videos, and some people organically thought that it was an indie. So I guess we did a good enough job that there's people out there, because it's all on YouTube, that people thought that we were an indie. So we were a bunch of untrained, decent guys with obvious, like, all right, if you shape this and scratch that, and you can actually do the pro wrestling thing correctly. And I think that was a lot of us. So we took it and ran.
So you start training, you do backyard and everything. So you also do a lot of other things in wrestling. Did like constructing and putting storylines together while you was backyarding? Did that go into like helping you on the other side of the camera?
Yeah, so because we didn't have people to do all the other stuff, like we didn't have a camera crew or anything like that. So we were our own refs. We were our own cameramen. We were our own commentators. So I used those inadvertent teachable moments to like help me with my speaking, with my interviewing style. It's, if you've ever been in the position of being a referee, it actually even helps you when you're the wrestler in the ring, because you, especially in one-on-one matches, a lot of times you're only focused on your opponent. Because of all that time that I was doing reffing as well, it allows me to like open up my vision just a little bit more and like remember my referee. So in a lot of my matches, I try to use the ref because it's a forgotten thing. It's like, hey, there's a ref here. So I try to do that and incorporate that, and just little like sprinkles of things that are forgotten that can be utilized well. And especially since it's so uncommon space, people start treating you like you some kind of genius, but really it's just people forget.
Okay. I'm just gonna run with what you said. People start treating you like you some type of genius. So let's say I'm watching a movie, right? About your career. What movie would depict your career and who's playing you?
Dang. No, that's a great question. I like them off-ball questions like that. If there's a movie that I could think of, Training Day. It would be Training Day. And I would need someone who can actually legitimately pass off as both Black and Hispanic. So I'll go all the way. I want Denzel to play me. I want him to be talking Spanish like how he was in that movie. And yeah, and I still want to get shot up at the end. Yeah. Yeah. The whole way through. I want everything to go right, and I still want to get shot up at the end.
Who will put the bullet in you at the end then?
Chris Kazama.
Ooh.
Chris Kazama would put the bullet in me. Yeah. Basically everyone behind the booking, promoting, and social media team of Fight. So John, Jamila, Pop, Tyreek, and all of them will line up and shoot me. They would murder me because I know the headache that I am for them. And so one day, if they could legally get away with shooting me, they absolutely would.
Let's talk about Fight Club. We here. We gotta talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
So you was telling me something funny. You know, I went to my first Fight Club event, and
Yes.
me and I think Kazim, that's his name. We were arguing.
Kazama.
You said you could
Christian Harris, but everyone calls him Kazama.
You said you could hear us arguing on the thing.
Yeah.
Andino came out, and let me just put y'all in the mode, right? So Andino come out. I'm like, this is my people right here. You know what I'm saying? Let's go, Andino. Let's do this thing.
Right.
And the people like, boo, we ain't doing that. And I'm like,
yep.
Damn, this what we're doing out here. So I mean, explain that relationship. Why? I mean, you've done some things at Fight Club, but explain to the people how y'all got here. Where they?
So to put for those that don't know, to put an understanding on the whole first and the 51st thing, I'll start there. Fight got created off of, I don't care. Fight got created off of a renege. Legit. And you know, I'm terrible at spades, but I do understand that reneging is the worst thing you could do in spades.
Facts.
Right? And people get punched for reneging.
Facts.
So fight became a thing off the strength of a renege, which already by itself is crazy. Won't get into that, but that's just the facts. The first round of the tournament for the Pan-African World Diaspora Wrestling Championship was recorded at another company that reneged on fight. So people came together. Hey, do we still want to do this? Everyone agreed. Fight is created. Now, the promotion for the first show wasn't that great. So if you go back on IWTV and watch the second round of the tournament, not the big show that everyone's aware of that happened in February pre-COVID, there's not a lot of people there. So a lot of people weren't shooting with us in the gym. And I took that very personally because the amount of people on the socials that pretended to really, really be about what this championship represents, they waited to hop along on the train. And we made it clear that this train has a lot of seats. So like there's plenty of room. And it wasn't until the success of that first show, which did not have on all over like the internets, that then proceeded to have, you know, the large show where Trish won at the end and that big triple threat match and all that stuff. The big historic show that created the world title, right? From the inception of that situation where everyone else was, you know, throwing their fists up in the air and we are the champions, I wasn't happy about it. I felt disrespected for the team, for all the wrestlers, the performers, and everyone, you know, behind it. I felt that, why are we just like letting them clap it up like they've been here? Like, I didn't like that. So I took it very seriously. And I began to run with this narrative that was honestly not a narrative, it's a fact. I was the first wild card. I was the first person, when it was fight, I was the first person to come out and actually like do anything inside of that ring. I was the first person to have a non-singles match. I was the first. It was a lot of firsts. So that was the whole thing. I kept realizing it was being brought to my attention that I did a lot of firsts. I was the first championship match. People forget that the Chocolate City Championship match was first, me versus Billy. So I began to, you know, on deaf ears, but I kept saying that to DC, I'm what they wish their sports teams were. Like you guys, you don't love what you claim to love the way you do. You have all these things and all these opportunities. I think all the best wrestlers and the best wrestling is from or makes their way to the DMV area. more specifically DC, because it's the center. And I wanted to pass on this message. And because nobody was listening, I started doing things people didn't love, like telling them the truth. Like, you guys only applaud things when they're successful. Like, there's a lot of people in this area that they pretend like they're Nationals fans and Capitals fans. These people don't watch hockey. These people don't watch baseball. But as soon as those teams win championships, all of a sudden everybody's wearing Capitals hats. Like, no, you were wearing, you know, you've never sat through 9 innings of baseball in your life. You don't even know the rules of hockey. Like, stop it. You're a Wizards fan, and you're I think they changed their name, but you're a Washington football's team fan, okay? And guess what? They suck. They're gonna keep sucking, and all the people that are from DC don't play for those teams, and when they become free agents, they don't come home. Kevin Durant, okay? I'm your best hope at a true Washington sports champion. And that truth upsets people because I'm not from here, but I treat this place like a home, and I treat it better as a home than people from here do. And they don't like that reality. And that's coming from a guy who's from New York, and New York is famous for treating their city like dog water.
So, only because this just came up, I'm gonna ask you, since you're from New York.
Absolutely. The greatest place on earth, in my opinion.
Okay. Y'all still claiming Mano?
I saw that.
This was a question that was asked in our group thing that we do.
I did see that. I actually just watched that before coming in here. And I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of things happening with some New York greats that is making it very difficult to claim New York, like left and right. I can't go 2 weeks without something like that happening, where someone who is a New York staple says or does something flagrant. It's getting to the point where I'm going to do like every New Yorker that comes to money and just move somewhere else and not claim it. Like, I only don't live in New York because of the cost of living. And now it's becoming a thing. I've always said when I come to money, I'm going to move back to New York. And if these kind of things like Mano keeps happening, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm probably going to move to probably going to go to like Jersey or something, or like Florida, like every other rich New Yorker does. Like, he's insane, but I know his background, so I'm not going to say too much. Because I still walk those streets. I'm actually going there next week.
Oh, okay. No problem.
So I'm gonna intelligently watch my mouth.
I can understand that.
Yeah. But I wouldn't have said that. Is what I'm gonna. That's. And I disagree. That's what I got.
Okay. So people coming here, we talking about everything. If I told somebody, yo, you need to check out Christopher Andino, what match would you direct them to? Or do you have like 1 or 2 matches you like? You want to see what I can do? These are the matches you should check out.
I would say I'll give you different platforms just to make it fun. Go on IWTV and Mochella. Watch me against Saul. Because that match didn't have a crowd, so you can hear us. And as you know, I talk a lot. And no crowd, everyone else hated no crowd shows. I'm not one of those people. I saw it as an opportunity. So me against Saul Esparza, I love that match. On YouTube, me against Tyler Moore against Bum Hayden at the first Fight show, which was also the first triple threat match for Fight. Another one. That match I loved and hated because an impromptu injury happened that was out of my control, that happened between the other 2 performers. So it was my first time having to face legitimate in-match adversity and having to move around it. So I'm very proud of how we cleaned that up. On high spots, for C3W, it's myself against K.A. Robinson against another person. I forget his name, but I enjoyed that match a lot. And this is me flexing that I've been on other networks. on Fight TV.
Ooh.
You can go back and watch Game Changer Wrestling, the scramble match, because it was probably the world's least cluster. Can we curse?
Yeah, we can cuss.
Oh, it's the least clusterfuck match that I've ever seen, and I was a part of it, and I played a big role, and I'm very proud of that match. It was a 7-man scramble, which is odd as fuck. And so yeah, you can go on Fight TV and watch that one. So yeah, you have options.
Perfect transition. Gave you four different platforms you can watch on. I was gonna go to the For the Culture, Mania Weekend. Was that your first Mania Weekend?
That was my first time ever being at a Mania Weekend in general.
How was being on For the Culture? Because your match, it was slapping.
Yeah.
You even slapped PBs with the back of the head.
Right. What an idiot. What an idiot.
But how was that match for you?
That match was scary. I'll be transparent. And I don't like to be humble because I think being humble is overrated. But I will admit, because of how many, and if anything, first and foremost, I have to shout out AJ, because I saw him like both having to scramble and get his own stuff together, and I can only imagine how much of a headache that is to both have to wrestle and manage other egos and personalities. So you got to worry about your match and then over a dozen other human beings and keeping everything and everyone, whether you're trying to keep them happy or not, but just in general, I can only imagine. Like, he had 3 jobs that day, and it was 3 very extraneous jobs. You had to go out there, because imagine if he had a bad match on his own show. You feel what I'm saying? So he has to have a good match with a great performer in Darius Lockhart. You have to deal with all these possibilities of mess ups and stuff like that, because there was no shows, there was people had issues flight wise and all kinds of stuff. And the scramble match, who cares about that? We're here to watch the showcase matches that were posted and flyered out and stuff like that. And that's true. I'm not offended by that. It's just the reality. Nobody went to For the Culture to see Chris Andino. Duh. But what I did, I assumed that the scramble match was gonna be 4 to 8 guys who are good but relative unknowns, because that's usually what it looked like, is what usually happens on these shows. But it ends up being, you got Carly, PB, Michael Oku, Judiz. Honestly, me and Trey were the only guys who fit the bill of talented guys that are relative unknowns. Me and Trey were the only guys that Trey Shaw that fit into that. Everyone else was, who these people are. You've seen these people. So I didn't expect that. And everyone was great. I enjoyed having the opportunity to touch with all these people and everything like that. It was really cool. And yeah, I feel like in a crowd full of stars, I still found a way to shine. So I was proud of myself for that. And yeah,
he's being so humble.
I feel like I did my job.
When you came out,
yeah,
how did you feel? Because the crowd reacted to you when you came out.
Yeah.
Were you expecting that, or
no, not even a little bit? Because that was only my 3rd time using that song.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like that song and me are like here yet. Understandably. So I didn't I knew Suge knew it, right, because he's already been at a show where I came out with that song. So, but he's on commentary. He's not amongst the people. Right. So when I watched it back and, I could hear Suge's commentary, that I expected that. Everyone else though, I didn't understand that. Like when the music first started and I heard people already screaming my name behind the curtain. I'm behind the curtain. Like I got my little ritual I do. I'm bowing my head and I hear that and it messed up my whole I was shocked. I was honestly shocked. Thankful. Felt very blessed and privileged, but shocked, surprised, off guard. Didn't anticipate that at all. I was expecting a dead response.
So
yeah,
Lead Mania Weekend, no dead responses. You getting out here, you going around. I gotta
Yeah.
talk about it. Y'all look at the Instagram. I reposted what he said. He said he coming to show out in Naptown for Naptown All Pro. You know, getting booked on that was supposed to happen back in February, but now it's happening here. How you
Lucky
feel
him.
about how you feel about touching new territories and everything?
I was supposed to be in Indiana pre-COVID. Because when COVID shut stuff down, people's money got tighter. So making certain shows and making a profit in certain regards became impossible. And I'm not one of these people that just says yes to bookings. And I don't mean that in some type of flex way. It's just in a, I'm an adult and I have bills. Some people can afford to come home in the red. I'm not one of them. So at the end of the day, I live in the DMV. Indiana it'll take some money to get there. So the reason why that didn't happen sooner, because it was a conversation already. It was strictly things changed, money changed, COVID happened. So no feelings were hurt. But then when that match gets announced in February, I'm like, bet. And I have this rule. I don't lose to anyone white in February. And Bradley wasn't about to break the rule. So as far as I'm concerned, this match was scheduled for February. So this is still a February match in my mind. So for Bradley and company, I know he rolls with the Lost Boys, and there are melanated brothers amongst this group. So they should tell him in advance how that works. But as far as I'm concerned, this is still a February competition. So you know what I'm saying? I might brawl him in the do-rag. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he might have to see me with this do-rag on. And I've never lost a fight with a do-rag on. That's a real truth. In my life. And that won't change because he's the third, the fourth, the seventh. No. He's good though. He's good though.
Is you in a do-rag like Gray Hoodie Lux?
Me and a do-rag is white t-shirt surf. Yeah.
Sorry, y'all, this is just battle rap.
Yeah.
Goodness, not white t-shirt surf.
Yeah. No. He's like, I'm treating him like a Johnny Dang piece. Like, I respect what he brings to the table, and I'm taking him very seriously, and that's worse for him. So yeah.
Naptown All Pro.
Yes, very excited for that.
April 30th, 3816 Tinley Academy. It's in my hood. You know what I'm saying? First wrestling event ever I can go to that if I wanted to, I could walk to it. So nice. I'm not going to walk to it, but it's in my hood. We're going to be there. If you can't be there, sponsor a seat. It's the Curb Gun Violence on the Far East Side. It's with the Far East Side Community Center. $10 sponsor seat for kids.
I think I'm doing it right. Was it this way, or I don't it's an N, it's something, but this, yeah. It's on like a shirt now or something. Go buy the shirt and like fund it so that I can get all my money.
Do that again?
I think this is it. It's an N, right?
For what?
For Naptown. I saw J Rose do it. I think this is they put it on a shirt. It's a neat shirt. I don't know if it's right hand 1, left hand 2, or I don't know. It's one of them. I don't want to mess it up, so I'm gonna do them both. They do have merch, people.
We both from Far East Side.
Yeah.
Far East Side, we do this right here.
Yeah. Using 2 hands to do a symbol is very off for me. Like,
I don't know about that.
I'm used to 1-hand gang signs, so like 2-hand gang signs, like.
Even back in the day, it was like
N,
that's a little P.
That feels right. That you should talk to them. That's not bad, actually.
We 2 different generations, so that's all. Like when I was out there, I don't know if I'd be doing it. I don't know if that.
How I was taught, like well, I'm snitching on myself, but
No, don't snitch on yourself.
I used one hand. I used one hand to throw up letters. That's how much. I used one hand to throw up letters.
That's how I was taught. So take it out on Bradley, because I don't. If you ever see me with the 2 and the 1, I don't know.
He gonna get a 1 too, so that's okay.
There it is.
He gonna get a 1 too.
I'll talk to J Rose about that, because I don't.
I mean, it does look like an N, like on camera. Now that I actually look at it, it's an N.
Yeah, it looked like an N.
It is there.
I'm just not.
I guess they don't want to. I guess they don't want to gimmick infringe. You see what I'm saying? Like, maybe they just don't want to gimmick infringe.
Yeah,
I get it.
Naptown.
Yeah, there you go. You look like you don't feel comfortable doing it.
I'm not doing that.
Hey.
Nothing against it. It's all Naptown.
Of course.
I'm just not doing that.
Just get the shirt and just like throw the shirt up. See what I'm saying? You're like,
There's some shirts coming though.
Yeah.
I might get one if they got it at Naptown All Pro just to support, but 2 different generations, but it's all good.
Yeah.
And I got to ask you, I mean, we already been here for 30 minutes. I ain't even felt like that. Your name, you've been picking up a lot of steam on Spaces. You know what I'm saying? People see you on Spaces doing your thing and everything. You got to talk about that avenue right there, man. Tell me about Spaces.
Spaces was luck for me because I made my Twitter in 2019 and didn't touch it. And then when COVID happened is when I actually started using my Twitter. And then, then they make Twitter Spaces. Let me not say it like that. There are people out there that will tell you that I'm a terrible texter. Tweeting and texting to me are the same thing. I am a much better speaker. I'd rather just call you real quick and tell you what I got to tell you and then hang up. I know people hate that. Some people are like, oh, you could have just texted it to me. I'm like, but my texting is trash. So Spaces was an opportunity, and I didn't use it as an opportunity. I just got on Spaces because I was bored. And I was just myself, and people latched onto it. And then what ends up happening was, because I have my highlight tape pin tweeted, which I am making a new one soon. But I have my highlight tape pin tweeted. So what ended up happening was I went from 200 followers to over 1,000, which is baby numbers to a lot of people, but it's a fucking big ass jump. So my numbers just keep popping every day. Like, I had to turn off my Twitter notifications are turned off now because I have now reached the position where every time I open Twitter, the bell is always red. It's not a lot, but it's just always. It's never a day or a time that I open Twitter and I don't have at least a 1 next to that bell. So what happens is people saw my highlight tape and a couple of my videos, and then it was like, oh, he's entertaining. We really like him. He's a cool guy. And then it was, oh shit, he's actually good at this wrestling thing too. We just liked him because we liked him. We're wrestling fans, and oh, he's actually like good at it too. I'm like, yeah, no shit. So that's how that ended up happening. Just use the tools that I know best.
Now we're gonna wait on that, but let's go into this one of our last spots.
Let's get it.
Rocker Stone Cold.
Oh wow. Stone Cold.
Stone Cold 2 weeks in a row. We out. Well, 3 guests in a row, I should say. Stone Cold has been picked. So yeah, no issue.
Yeah.
Still keep this since no one picked The Rock. So you know what I'm saying. That's not even up no more.
Right.
So this man told me he's the funniest person I know. You're not gonna go into the whole story on that, but I'm ready to put him on the spot. Before we do the put yourself over moment. Okay. So Andino.
Yes. Not the big screen.
what comes after what I'm getting ready to say is to put yourself over a moment. That's where you let us know your social media, any ways that people can support you. Tell them about the these t-shirts. Anything that you got come up, we ask you to put yourself over. But before that, you on the spot, bro. make the people laugh. You the fun.
Make the people laugh.
Make the people laugh.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's ridiculous.
No, matter of fact, my bad. Don't make the people laugh.
Okay.
Make me laugh.
Make you laugh. Okay. That's crazy.
Crazy, right?
Oh shit. Huh?
You set yourself up for this.
You're right. Look, listen, okay. I'm not T.I. Like, all right. Oh man. That is insane. Let me think of what I think is a funny story that you don't know.
So there I was. He starts.
No, yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna get you with something. Trying to think, because we talked plenty, so I feel like you done heard a bunch.
Get the people a funny story.
Okay.
I won't lie to you. I probably was gonna try my hardest not to laugh, so it's gonna be all bad. So yeah.
All right.
Let's get something funny for the people.
All right. Okay. No, this is actually a good one. I'll tell you about the time that I became a murderer. Yeah. See.
Wait, are you going to jail? Or I mean, this.
No, not at all.
Okay.
No. See, but look, but you laughed already. I succeeded. You already laughed. It's about the delivery. So I was driving from my at the time girlfriend's house, very angry after an argument.
You know what? I'm going to put you on Twitter Live so they can hear this.
Let's do it. This is crazy.
I'm just going to set them up so they can be prepared for this.
You're going to love this. Let me know when I can go.
What up, Twitter? You know, Friday we got Andino, Christopher Andino coming. He says he's the funniest person that I know. So he's going to tell me a story, and we're going to see if I laugh or not. You can check his full spotlight on Friday on We Love Wrestling. We Love. It's back on you, Andino.
Jesus. I mean, technically, you're laughing because of me. See, it's semantics. Look. So there I was, driving my car, furious, from my then girlfriend's home.
Oh.
And I was driving like every dude does when they're angry. I get to the highway and I see a dog coming off the median. And to me, it happened in slow motion. I try to slow down the car. There's a car riding my ass. I'm honking my horn. The dog keeps walking forward. I hit the dog.
Wait. You.
So here were my options. There was a man to my left. There was a lady in my rear. I hit the brakes too hard, getting rear-ended. I try to scoot to the left. I'm probably going to cause a huge mass, like NASCAR style situation that way. So it was my expenses or this fucking dog. Fido had to get got, yo.
Yo, let's move on. I don't want to do I don't want to do it's not a no. But
you're laughing. I win. I win.
You're a sick dude.
I hit the shit out of Fido. Listen, like it was over for Fido. It was over. And this dog, I fucked that dog up. Like, honestly, it's the beginning of my villain origin story. Because, like, you know, once you get your first taste of blood, nothing is impossible. All of my worst heel shit has happened post murdering that fucking dog. Yeah, so whoever's the dickhead who let their dog somehow get to the whole ass highway, I would like to thank you for leading me into some of my best work in professional wrestling. Listen.
Let's move past that.
That dog, that fucking dog. It cost me $500 because it fucked my front up. I want that. This is your fault.
Nobody said anybody. I didn't know that was gonna be the story. I did not know.
This is your fault. Your fault. Did you want me to tell the 4 joint story?
What you got? Come on, let's go.
Have you not heard that one?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You've never heard the 4 joint story?
No.
So, me and a friend were lit as hell. And we stumbled into the conversation of how desperate would you have to be to do pornography? My answer is not that desperate. I said, whatever my circumstance is, if I get put in a position that behooves me, I'd do it. And he jokes about creating our own.
To the put yourself over moment, because I got to get him out of here.
This is your fault.
You're right. I said
this is your fault.
I said make me laugh, and you can't.
But you laughed though.
I mean,
you laughed multiple times.
It's mostly like I'm about to get canceled laugh, but we good.
Listen. You have the power to edit.
Oh, this was live though.
Fantastic.
You feel me? So they can watch. You can watch this live on the Twitter timeline if you dare.
Let's fucking go.
But before I cut y'all off on Twitter, I'm gonna let him put his stuff over with. Put himself over. You know, that's where you give us your social media, any ways they can support you, t-shirts, things you got coming up, anything you just want the people to know. We just want you to put yourself over.
At studio_Andino on all my socials. On Instagram, Andino is spelled with a 1 because my original account got fucking hacked. Excuse me. I just put it up too. On the 23rd, I am in Delaware for Championship Wrestling in Delaware. On the 30th, I am at Naptown. In May, I'm forgetting the dates, but I am at SWA in Pennsylvania. I am at This Is Your Job. Well, I'm somewhere else. I'm in EWA in Maryland in May as well. I know there's others, but they haven't been announced. So, yeah, I'm at HWF I think HWF is in one of the Virginias, West or something, Virginia. I could be wrong, but HWF in May as well. Buy all my shirts at What a Maneuver. Yes, it's still at What a Maneuver. If you want it off What a Maneuver, guess what? That costs money. So if you buy my shit from What a Maneuver, you can get what you want. So if you want my shit off What a Maneuver that bad, buy my shit on What a Maneuver.
Check out this Spotlight with Andino. It'll be up on YouTube and all podcast platforms. Andino, thank you for giving us this time.
You just got it. What you feeling right now? That temperature rising? That's what it is. That's what they talk about. There it is. See?
Like I always say, if I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love wrestling. It's too sweet. For the coach.
Wrestling and you love wrestling, then we. You're not here, you missing out. Is this show?